Hey guys, Michael here. In this video I'm going to show you how to tether your internet connection from your iPhone 3G so you can use Firefox to browse the web on your Mac. This will work for an iPhone 3G or a regular iPhone that has been jailbroken. And if you don't know how to jailbreak, just go to youtube.com/therevivedone. There's a pretty in-depth tutorial using QuickPwn up there right now. So, once you have it jailbroken, you're going to need to go into Cydia, which is the new installer.app, basically a new way to install third-party applications, and you're going to need to install OpenSSH. Now that doesn't have a GUI interface, so you're not going to see it, but once you install it, it's there, don't worry. And you're also going to want to search Cydia for something called Mobile Terminal, and once you get that and install it, it should look something like this. Now, that's all you really have to do there. While we're in Mobile Terminal, we're going to type something in. Socks, S-O-C-K-S. We're going to need this later, but we might as well type it in now because we're already there. S-O-C-K-S, and you'll see nothing happened, but that's all that's supposed to happen there. Now, while we're also on the iPhone, just some words of advice. I suggest going into Settings and going down to General and turning auto lock to never, because you need the phone to be on, otherwise you're going to lose the connection and you won't be able to browse the web. So you want to turn auto lock off. And also, if you're going to be using this for a longer period of time, I suggest turning the brightness all the way down to nothing to conserve battery, because tethering does take up a substantial chunk of battery. So now here we are on my Mac desktop, and as you can see I'm connected to an access point, and if I open up Firefox, it loads a web page. But I'm not going to connect to that. We need to create an ad hoc network so these two devices can talk to each other, basically. So we're going to create a network, and we're just going to call it tether. In this case, it makes it easier like that. So now it's connected, and as you can see here, it's connected to tether. Now in settings, we basically want to connect to that Wi-Fi tether. As you can see, we're connected to it. Now, also, what you want to do is press the button right there to get more information about it. It'll give you an IP address. I suggest writing that down. So, I'm going to open up TextEdit. I'm just going to copy that down. So there's the IP address. We're going to need that. So we'll just minimize it for now, but we're going to need that in the future. So now the most important thing is, as you can see, it's connected to Wi-Fi, which is this ad hoc network. But what we need to do is open up Safari and load a web page. So in this case, it's loading slickdeals.net. And as you can see, it's not loading because it's trying to get data from that ad hoc network, but obviously there's no internet data coming through. So it then switches back to 3G, and now the page is loading. This is the most important step because otherwise there won't be any data connection coming through to the laptop. And again, this will work, I guess, on a desktop, but you probably won't have a desktop with you in the car or whatever. So you want to make sure you load a page. That's one of the most important things, so the iPhone drops back to getting data from 3G or Edge, whatever your situation is. So I'm just going to go back to the home page. That's all you have to do. And again, if you're going to use this, I suggest turning the brightness all the way down. That way it'll last the longest. So now you want to open up Firefox. And as you can see, we get a page load error. Obviously, there's a little bit configuring we need to do. So you want to go to Preferences. You want to go to Advanced Network Settings, and you want to go to Manually Configure Proxy. So now I'm just going to open up that TextEdit document, get that IP address that I wrote down earlier, copy it into Socks host, and then port is 1080. I want to press OK there, and close this. We load again. Still page load error. You need to go to About:config, and say you'll be careful. Then you want to type in socks. Then you want to change network.proxy.socks_remote_DNS to true. But if I try to load NFL.com, that works, it loads. Now this is obviously a lot of stuff to load here, but it loaded quite nicely actually, pretty quickly over 3G. Again, as you can see here, we're not connected to a Wi-Fi access point, we're just connected to that ad hoc network we created called Tether. So we can try out another web page such as YouTube if we want to test out another one. For some reason, I don't know why Mozilla didn't work. I guess maybe the server went down or something. But YouTube works fine, and again over 3G, it does work very quickly. And you can feel free to do a speed test. You'll notice that it runs much faster, the 3G or even Edge, than it does on your phone, just because the laptop is more capable of running faster because the CPU is faster. You're really limited. The bottleneck with the iPhone 3G is the processor inside, not the data connection. So that's just an interesting thing to know. Okay, so that's pretty much all you need to do to tether your MacBook Pro or your MacBook or your MacBook Air, or I suppose a Mac desktop, but I don't know why you'd want to use it in that situation. But to tether your Mac to your iPhone, your jailbroken iPhone, so you can use the data connection. Now remember, if you're on AT&T, this isn't supported, so if you don't want to use this every day, but you shouldn't have any problems using it occasionally. But just remember that if you start using it crazy and downloading a lot of content, AT&T is going to identify you as a network hog, and you could either get terminated or have an outrageous bill. So just some things to think about. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you want more information about hacking your iPhone or other cool things you can do with your iPhone 3G, just go to youtube.com/therevivedone, or if you want to check out my blog at michaelsherlock.com, I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, that's how you can tether your iPhone 3G or iPhone to your MacBook Pro, MacBook, or MacBook Air. Thanks for watching.